It is that time again. Headphone highlights. Okay. Since Elden Ring decides it's not going to work for us tonight, we're going to just push forward and enjoy some super sexy headphones. So as I stated last week, with the LCDs, those were going to be the last entry in our planar magnetic headphone line and our journey through the planars. But it would so happen that we have another one. Just came in last week. This is a headphone that I've been looking at for a while, but didn't ever take the plunge for because I figured that it kind of it kind of was fitting in a weird category where I wasn't sure if I really needed to add it to the collection. But it just so happened that I had a lot of drop purchase points and credits that were all going to expire. So I used all those credits to buy these. These are the Dan Clark Drop plus Dan Clark Audio Aeon CX closed version. They're a pretty unique shape of a headphone. And they also, as you can probably see, are really, really great at collecting fingerprints. But that's whatever. But yeah, they're a pretty cool little, not little, they're actually quite large, a large planar headphone. Yeah. Very shiny. Yeah, they are. They are very shiny. In fact, it's going to bother me. So I'm going to clean them up a little bit so that they're not so smudgy on the camera. So Dan Clark formerly was known as Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker made a number of headphones that were fairly well known in the audiophile world. A notable one would be the Mad Dogs, Dan Clark Mad Dogs. Those were a pretty popular Fostex T50 mod, which we talked about the T50 mods before. That's what the Aragons are. So he had his own, which was pretty popular for a long time. He has since then really expanded his repertoire and his collection of amazing custom-made headphones to the point now where he is his own company, right? This dude just makes his own shit now. And these are based off of his Aeon line. The Aeons look very similar to this with just some minor differences. Most of the differences physically are in the headband. But even then, it's pretty minor. So what this is, though, this is the collaboration with not Mr. Speaker anymore, Dan Clark and Drop, as Drop tends to do. It's another partnership where they took his Aeon line and gave it some few tweaks, did slight, very minor adjustments to the build, and offer it for a discounted price. So let's take a look at the build here. Yes, that is carbon fiber. Indeedly do. It's very shiny, for sure. The cups are a very nice, durable quality plastic. It's a little hard to see it on the on camera here, but this is a blue tinted plastic that has this slightly speckled metallic sheen to it. It's really hard to see on the camera, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it that there's just a nice, almost like car-like metallic blue coloring to that plastic there. It's very nice. Moving up from the, oh my gosh, they're a little awkward to hold. Moving up from the cup, we have the bracket that holds the headband, and this is where it differs from the design of the regular Aeon. Regular Aeon has an extra hinge right about here, where it gives it just some more adjustability on the head also allows the headphone to fold fold it into itself for more portability. So that's really what you're missing out in terms of the headband design, is that this headband is not allowing the headphone to collapse on itself to be portable the same way that the default Aeons are. But even then, I never thought that they really looked particularly portable anyway. And I certainly don't plan to use them that way. But this bit here is a very... I don't know what material this is, but it's very, very interesting. It's got to be some sort of... I don't know. I really don't know what this is. If it's plastic, it is extremely dense plastic. And it has this almost... It has this texture on it, this really kind of nice... textured, almost bone-like feel to it. I don't know what it's made of, but it feels super, super robust. That comes up to the bit that actually makes to form the headband. And the headband, very simple. It is just two metal wires, or if not metal, whatever kind of very high quality, robust type of wiring that is used for this kind of thing. Just two springs, two wires going from either side, and then you have a very nice, simple, no frills comfort strap that should say on it. Yoop. Come on. Come on, camera, you can do it. Let me get that evened out there. Drop plus... Oh, well, it says drop plus Dan Clark audio. It's not coming through very well, but I'm gonna have to take my word for it. The tension, the way the comfort strap adjusts is through tension. So this slides pretty much infinitely downwards and upwards on either side. It is just tension. That's the only mechanism being used there. And you notice the screw on the inside. You can obviously use that screw to adjust the tension if it's too loose or too tight for you. But all that does is simply rise or lower the comfort strap to make it more comfortable for you. The cables terminate at that same kind of very industrial, very robust cable design that we saw on the other Dan Clark headphones that we have. The what are those called? Oh my gosh. Elden Ring has broken me. The Ether... Yeah, the Ethers. The Ether CX. So same deal. It's kind of this 4-pin XLR sort of system where you push the button down to lock it and unlock it. And it has the same kind of irritation where you have to line it up like just right. So I gotta like really... I can't just shove it in there and plug it in. You have to actually like twist it till it finds the right spot where it wants to fall in there. Eventually. There. See? It takes a bit. But it does make a nice satisfying click when it does so. I'm not using the cable that this comes with. I'm using, I think, the cable that the Ethers came with, which is a fine cable, but as you can see, has some jankiness to it. So it's not the best, but it's functional. It's fine. Okay. What else? Oh, the pads. So you'll notice, look at that. It's in the shape of an ear. What a freaking concept, right? Have your headphone the shape of your freaking ear. Holy crap. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And indeed, your ear fits very nicely in there. And you can actually see the driver. There it is. It's a pretty good sized driver. The pads are very, very, quite thick. Very, very soft. They're not like the most plush and most soft pads we've looked at, but they're very nice. They're very decent. They are a solid faux leather, protein leather, all throughout the outside and on the face of the pad, but the inside is perforated. Oh, okay. The inside is perforated only on the one side. This side is also solid, but this side in the front section of your ear is perforated. So that's interesting. So yeah, good build. Good quality build. And because of the carbon fiber and because of the construction of the headband, even though these are again large planar headphones, they are extremely light. Exceptionally light. Easily the lightest planar headphone we have looked at by far. And that, of course, leads into the comfort. These are easily, as predicted, these are easily the most comfortable planars that I now own. They're wickedly comfortable. They're so incredibly light, and there's the head strap, the comfort strap is perfectly simple, that it's causing no connections, hotspots anywhere on my head, and the clamp force, there is a bit of it, but it's not uncomfortable. It's not super significant. And even if the clamp force was to a point where it's very, very, maybe too much for you, you could easily just bend this out. You can easily just kind of bend that out. You might have to maybe push that up a little bit and literally bend a little bit. You don't want to go too far, obviously, but you can bend it out. And that'll help. But clamp force doesn't bother me. So really good comfort. Very, very comfortable. Man, they're one of the more comfortable headphones I own, period. Not just planars. Where do I want to put them up against? They are, in many ways, almost comparable to the Argons in terms of comfort. They're that good. But the Argons, I feel, just have a little bit extra kind of, for lack of a better word, magic to them in terms of how they're put together and the comfort of all those pads and the headband on those things. So I'm not going to quite rate it the same, but I'm going to say it's a good solid 9. We're hitting cloud 9 with these in terms of comfort. Just insanely comfortable. They're crazy comfortable. Really, the only notable problem I can foresee with the comfort is because of the shape of this can. You notice that this comes to a point down here, and that point kind of ends right on your jawline a little bit. For the most part, it doesn't bother me. It's only if maybe the headphones are drooped down a little too far, does it it starts to rest on that, and that can be a little irritating. But if you just use the head strap to pull them up, like so, it becomes a non-issue. So super crazy comfortable. I'll also mention that just like with the Ether CX, these come with a tuning system where you can customize the headphones to sound the way you want them to. With the different kind of foam inserts. That being said, I opted to, as you can see, not use any of them. And that's interesting because I definitely use them for the ethers, but I chose not to use them for these. I tried out the various different combinations in the tuning pads, the tuning like foams and inserts. And I found that it just took away too much of the detail in these, even at the lowest, the thinnest amount of foam, thinnest amount of dampening. I still felt just took away too much of the detail, so I opted not to do any of that. So we'll get into sound now. These sound pretty freaking incredible. A comparison I have seen and I have heard about these is one that I am going to agree with. These are basically Sennheiser HD6XXs but closed. So that's pretty darn cool. They're very neutral. They're not as neutral as the CXs. As I said before, those are ridiculously neutral. But they are quite neutral. You can adjust that a little bit with the custom dampening. But I feel like the dampening just kind of does a bit too much veiling for my taste. Where these really excel is extremely well-controlled low end. The bass response is very accurate, very clean, and very controlled. It doesn't bleed, it doesn't bloom. It's just, and it's where it needs to be and doesn't intrude anywhere else. So very, very clean low end while still maintaining a very punchy and satisfying low end. Just a very true and honest low end, nothing that's too flavored. Your mid-range is very clean, very clear. Vocal presence is the vocal presence is very similar to the CXs. It probably leans a bit more towards the 6XXs, the Sennheisers, but it's somewhere between that. It's between your 6XXs and the Ether CX in terms of the vocal clarity and vocal presence. So very, very good vocals. And then the high end is extremely well detailed. It doesn't quite hit the same punchiness and snappiness that we get from those Hi-Fiman H560s, but it is very crisp, very clean, very brilliant sounding high end. I mean, it really is. It is very much as if you took your sound signature from the HD6XXs and took away the warmth from those dynamics and made a planar out of it. So it's a planar sound of those Sennheisers, and it's excellent, excellent. I'd say they're significantly better built than the Sennheisers. They're more comfortable than the Sennheisers. They're more unique looking than the Sennheisers. So, you know, if you want a close back that matches that kind of same sound signature, but with a little extra almost everywhere, with the exception of soundstage, then this is going to be a good choice for you. There is some soundstage, which is interesting because Dan Clark headphones in particular, his closed headphones tend to be the more preferred version of his headphones. He kind of struggles with well, I don't want to say that. He doesn't struggle with it. But sometimes the open version of his headphones just don't quite deliver the same way that the closed versions do. And also, his closed headphones tend to have very narrow soundstage. But these, again, similar to the CXs, the Ether CXs, have a fair amount of soundstage to them. It's not tremendous. It's not hugely wide. But it's, you know, hearish. It's nice. It's pleasant. It gives you a little bit of space to really enjoy what you're listening to without it being super crazy intense. Are they expensive? So that they sit in an interesting spot. These are. Let me just make sure I don't misspeak on this, because you know, I got them for a little less because I had points, but these sell for. Bear with me. Yeah. These are $480. $480. So less than $500. For less than $500, these are probably one of the best closed-back headphones you can get. That's a statement. That's a big one, because $500 range, there's a lot of competition. Um, we don't have a ton of competition in the close back, at least on my wall here, for that range. But in general, there's just a lot of competition for that. But man, pretty freaking excellent. One of the best close back I've heard in general, and for under $500, yeah. They're pretty similar to the Ether CXs. The Ether CXs are a better performing headphone, right? They deliver more. You get more of everything with those CXs, especially when it comes to just analytical neutrality. But it's very close, and for almost half the price as the Ethers. So that's a big one. To have Ether-like sound at $500 is a heck of a bargain. You know, would I choose them all the time? Probably not. I still would probably more often choose my Argons over these, but the Argons are just a much more fun, flavored, bombastic headphone, and that's more to my liking. But there's no denying that these have much more impressive performance in terms of delivery and analysis than something like the Argons do. So excellent sounding headphones, excellent comfort in these headphones, and excellent build. They're really great. I love them a lot. I will say that Dan Clark has a habit, not a habit, it's just how he designs his headphones. But he designs his headphones to be to require what is called burn-in. And there could be a little bit of controversy about burn-in and what it is and if it at all actually makes a difference. But basically what burn-in is the headphone has to perform and be used and be producing sound for a period of time before the drivers like relax into their natural position, and then those just always sound a certain way. And Dan Clark, he, as far as I can tell, for almost all of his headphones, mentions that they require burn-in. I believe for these he said 100 hours or so of burn-in. So 100 hours. That means having these plugged in and playing on something for 100 hours of listening before I can really judge them on their sound, according to him. I don't think I reached quite 100 hours worth of burn-in on these, but I did try to burn them in. I don't usually do burn-in on headphones. I don't usually find a significant difference with that, but it was his recommendation, so I did try it. I did about 8 hours a day for the last week, so not quite 100 hours, but I think a fairly good chunk of time that should have at least, if not made them exactly the way they're supposed to sound, more pushed them towards that sound than listening to them fresh off the mat. So, but nonetheless, great headphones. They sound great. They look pretty darn cool. I love the shape of them. They're really, really comfortable, and they're built very, very well. So, highly recommend. And then I'll say again, still probably, to my knowledge, one of the best, if not the best, close-back headphone you can get for under $500, especially if you need neutrality and analytical capability. And that's where this is going to deliver. So, that sounds a bit like a scam. You're not the only person to think so. But, okay.